and what are the different phases of data analysis, including the descriptive statistics and so on. So now we'll be going to the report writing. Just let the participants come. I'm taking break for 2-3 minutes. So let us start from here. An important part of the report of the research is the report writing. Report writing starts with the initial phases. Somebody asked about the question about how to write a good research proposal. Our discussion starts from there. So first, a researcher has to place a research proposal or synopsis before the members of the Board of Research Studies, and the contents of the research proposal includes the following: a summary of the subject and aims, a justification by the researcher, this will be researcher, sorry, a justification by the researcher, then an overview of the context and related literature, a summary of the anticipated research design methodology and inherent ethical issues, the anticipated time scale. These will be the contents of the research proposal. Now, in order to understand how to write a good research proposal, we have to deal with the characteristics of a well-written thesis. A thesis should include the following: a clear title and abstract which accurately and succinctly reflect the nature of the research study, a structure and format which help the reader to absorb the subject matter, and intellectual coherence which starts with precise aims from which follow the research design and a clear conclusion, accuracy in grammar and punctuation, and consistency in referencing, presentation, and the use of terms. These are the characteristics of a well-written research. Now, coming to the layout of the thesis. For that, I have already discussed in the previous classes in the literature review portion that you have to consult the university library for the unpublished thesis, and for the published thesis you can download it from the internet. Lots of freely available PDF file are there in the UGC resource, that is in FlipNet, and there are Shodh Ganga, Shodh Sindhu, lots of resources are there maintained by the UGC. Shodh Ganga is for the thesis of social science, and the matters relating to the physical science and computer science and others are there in Shodh Sindhu. And e-library is also there with different eminent institutions. So you have to consult the libraries also for the layout of the thesis, the design of the thesis, whether it is of your subject or not. The content is immaterial. You have to go through the layout. For that, you have to go through the page layout, font size and style, use of heading, subheading and titles, frequency of quotation, use of bullet points and formatting, including tables and figures in the thesis, how to include them, listing references and including a bibliography, and the use of appendix, the questionnaires and schedules, and you have to be consistent everywhere. Consistency is the buzzword in the thesis. If your sentences are once written in indirect narration, they are always to be written in indirect narration. If you use the third person singular or plural number, everywhere you have to use the same. So consistent use of verb, noun, adjective, etc. These are the ornamentation part of the thesis, and you have to maintain it very carefully. And now, after the layout of the thesis, just giving you one example of the title page. This is the title page of the thesis. It starts with the title, then name of the researcher, then where it is submitted. A thesis submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy awarded by the University of such and such, and in the month and year. Now, what are the good thesis writing strategies? Visit a good university library and several examples, select several examples of the type of thesis you intend to write. Read the title. Do they give an unambiguous indication of the nature of the thesis? Just see the title here. The influence of Plato on contemporary curriculum development. So the title is unambiguous and very lucidly explained. Similarly, the title should be lucidly explained and should be unquestionable and should be understood by all. Now read the abstract. Do they provide a clear summary of the thesis? Locate the aims of the thesis. Are they precise and clearly worded? Look at the content pages and overall structure of the thesis. Is it easy to find your way around the thesis? Now, there are certain typical research objectives which are to be mentioned in your thesis. So let me tell you frankly, tomorrow I have to move physically to the university. I have already informed the authority of MAKAUT, and they said that they will inform. And I am also informing you that tomorrow I'll be taking 1 hour class only from 9 to 10 a.m. because I have to move to my university physically because of a visit by the sudden visit by the higher education officials. And day after tomorrow, I'll be taking the classes for the whole day from 10 to 1 and from 2 to 5, not from 10 to 12:30 and 2 to 4:30. I'll be taking from 10 to 1 and 2 to 5 because tomorrow I'll be unable to continue further classes because of my university limitations. Just now, Vice Chancellor called me and said that this type of work is bestowed upon me, so I must be there in the university tomorrow. So, coming back to the issue, there are certain. So tomorrow classes will start from 9 a.m. and only from 9 to 10 a.m. I'll request the technical team and also the officials present in this platform to give them link just at 9 a.m. and I'll join at 9 a.m. only instead of 10. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, very much.
Okay. So I will request you to advise the technical team accordingly. Tomorrow I'll be taking from 9 to 10 a.m. only, and I have already informed Ranjita ma'am, and she said that every instruction will be given to the participants also. So I now request you to request the technical team to start tomorrow at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m.
Okay, sir. Noted.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now the research objectives are very much important. Whether you write the synopsis or the final thesis, everywhere this is an important component you have to write clearly. The research objectives. I am giving you an example for the persons from education who are doing research in a teacher training college, that is the further education college. Some particular aims, research aims are put here as an example, as this is in relation to the investigation of the experience of the teachers training students during teaching practice in a teachers training college. These are the research objectives: to explore the perceptions of teacher training students of the effectiveness of their practical টিচিং এক্সপিরিয়েন্স। হ্যাঁ বলো, না বলো। হ্যাঁ, আমি অলরেডি ওনার সঙ্গে কথা বলেছি তো। উনি বললেন আমি ইন্টারভিউতে ব্যস্ত আছি, তা ওনার বোধহয় ইন্টারভিউ হয়ে যাওয়ার পরে উনি টেক কেয়ার করবেন। আমি তো যাবো কালকে, আমি কথা বলে নেবো। আমি একটা অন্য ক্লাসে রয়েছি, আমি এক্ষুনি তো মেল পাঠাতে পারবো না, আমার সময় মতো পাঠিয়ে দেবো। ওটার তো একটা প্রসিডিওর আছে, ভাইস চ্যান্সেলরের কাছে ওটা অ্যাপ্লাই করতে হবে। অ্যাপ্লাই করার পর উনি লাইব্রেরিয়ানকে ওটা ফরওয়ার্ড করবেন, আমি তো ডাইরেক্টলি ওটা লাইব্রেরিয়ানকে পাঠাতে পারি না। ঠিক আছে, আমিও একটা ক্লাসে আছি, উনিও বোধহয় অন্য কোথাও আছেন। আমি আমি সময় মতো কথা বলে নেব। কালকে তো যাচ্ছি, গিয়ে কথা বলবো। So the research objectives are placed like this: to explore the perceptions of teacher training students of the effectiveness of their practical teaching experience, to investigate the nature of the resources provided for them by the college, to examine the level of support provided by the college mentor, and to analyze the validity of the practical teaching as a learning experience. So these are the examples. The research objectives are only few in number. Unlike the textbooks, here you see the research objectives are only few in number, 4 in number. There is a relationship between objective, then methodology, then findings, and then conclusion. And what we do, we do it as supervisor. What we do, we deal it with mathematically. Suppose there are 4 objectives. For 4 objectives, there are 2 or 3 or 4 types of methodologies used, and there are certain findings. For suppose for 4 objectives, for each there are 3 findings. That means there are 12 findings, and from 12 findings combinedly we have to arrive at the final conclusion. So we deal in such a way in commerce and management thesis, but you may deal with in different manner. But one thing, be careful, there should not be 10, 12, 15, 20 objectives. Only 2, 3 objectives, 4 objectives, 5 objectives in case of thesis, unlike the textbook, because these are not generalized objectives, these are the research objectives you put in your synopsis as well as in your final thesis. So, study strategies. Am I audible? It is better if the participants could interact, maybe by unmuting or by in the chat box. I'm not getting whether they are able to understand or not. Regarding research objectives, do you have any question? I think they are not able to listen what I am saying. No one is there.
Prem. Hello.
Yes,
Prem.
yes.
Please check that the participants can able to unmute
Yes,
themselves
yes,
and
yes, I have done that. I have done that.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Any
Yes, sir.
question up to this
It's understood.
regarding the research objectives?
Yes, sir. I'm getting your point, sir.
Yes. I want the questions if you have on the formation of the research objectives.
छुट्टी लेके क्लास कर दी
Yes, sir.
And please make me co-host so that I can deal with the mute
Sir,
option.
Sir, the chat is disabled by the host. The chat is disabled. Chat is disabled by the host.
এদিকে আয়। আয় বাবা।
Yes, please admit the
I
children.
think the control is exercised wrongly by the host. You have muted me and unmuted others.
স্যার আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
প্লিজ আমাকে একটু অ্যাডমিন অপশনটা দিন, আমি মানে কোহোস্ট অপশন দিন আমাকে, প্লিজ মেক মি কোহোস্ট। এরকম চলতে থাকলে আমি কিন্তু আর ক্লাস করতে পারবো না, মানে ইফ আই এম নট গেটিং এনি রেসপন্স ফ্রম এনিবডি, আমার পক্ষে ক্লাস করা সম্ভব না।
স্যার চ্যাট ডিসেবল আছে বাট আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
চ্যাট
হ্যাঁ, স্যার।
ডিসেবল আছে কিন্তু আমি কারোর কথাও শুনতে
আমরা
পাচ্ছি না,
শুনতে
কোনো
পাচ্ছি,
সাড়াও
স্যার।
দিচ্ছেন না।
No,
Sir,
it is
আমরা
enabled.
শুনতে
It is
পাচ্ছি।
আমাকে একটু
enabled.
আমরা
কোহোস্ট
শুনতে
করুন
পাচ্ছি,
কাইন্ডলি,
স্যার।
আমাকে একটু
Chat
কোহোস্ট
is
জাস্ট
করুন।
আমরা
enabled.
এখন বলতে পারছি, আমাদের সাউন্ড অফ স্যার যাচ্ছিল না, এখন যাচ্ছে।
না, আমি অ্যাডমিনকে রিকোয়েস্ট করছি আমাকে কাইন্ডলি একটু কোহোস্ট করুন, কারণ যার কথার বলার কথা নয় তিনি গান চালিয়ে শুনছেন এখানে অর্পিতা চ্যাটার্জি, তাহলে তো এই ক্লাসটার দরকার নেই। এমনিতেই পার্টিসিপেন্ট জয়েন করছেন 50%, তাহলে তো এতটা আমারও সময় চলে যাচ্ছে, এতটা তো দরকার নেই। আমি তাহলে অফ করে দিচ্ছি। আমি জানতে চাইছি আপনাদের অসুবিধা হচ্ছে কিনা, আর ইউ ফেসিং এনি প্রবলেম। আমি দেখছি
না, স্যার, না, স্যার।
যার কথা বলার কথা নয় তিনি কথা
নো
বলছেন।
স্যার, নো স্যার।
No, sir.
কোনো অসুবিধা হচ্ছে না স্যার, ঠিক আছে।
প্রথম কথাই একজনের কথা 5 দিন ধরে শুনতে ভালো লাগে না, আর তারপরে এই জিনিসগুলো যখন শক্ত হয়ে যাচ্ছে আমাকে তো আইডিয়া পেতে হবে, আপনারা বুঝতে পারছেন কি না? তো এটা যদি ওয়ান ওয়ে ট্রাফিক হয় তাহলে আমারও কিন্তু বলতে ভালো লাগবে না। রিগার্ডিং ফরমেশন অফ অবজেক্টিভ কোয়েশ্চেন আসা উচিত ছিল, কারণ এই রিসার্চ অবজেক্টিভ গুলো কি করে ফ্রেম করব, হাউ টু ফ্রেম দিস অবজেক্টিভ পিওরলি ডিপেন্ডস অন লিটারেচার রিভিউ। Unless we go through the sufficient amount of literature review, we cannot frame our research objectives. এই কোয়েশ্চেনটা কারোর থেকে আসেনি যে আমরা রিসার্চ অবজেক্টিভ গুলো কি করে ফ্রেম করব, হাউ টু ফ্রেম দ্য রিসার্চ অবজেক্টিভ। ফার্স্ট হাফে এসেছিল হাউ টু ডিল উইথ দ্য রিসার্চ প্রপোজাল, সেই জন্য আমি আবার এটাকে ইলাবোরেট করে এক্সপ্লেন করছি, কিন্তু সেকেন্ড হাফে তারা বোধহয় প্রেজেন্ট নেই। কালকে প্রচুর লোক আমাকে বলেছেন আমাদের অফিস করতে হয়, তাই আমরা ক্লাস করতে পারি না, আমরা শুধু ডিভাইসটা অন করে রাখি। এইভাবে কিন্তু চলবে না, যদি এটা হয় তাহলে আমাকে ক্লাস করা বন্ধ করে দিতে হবে। I want every feedback from the respondents, from the participants. তা না হলে যে জিনিসটা হচ্ছে, যে ইনিশিয়েটিভটা ইউনিভার্সিটি নিয়েছে সেটা তো মানে কোনো সাকসেসফুল হবে না, পরে সবাই বলবেন আমরা শিখতে পারছি না। চ্যাট বক্স ডিসেবল থাকলেও তো আনমিউট করে কথা বলা যায়। I can see off, please help me on. আপনার অর্পিতা চ্যাটার্জির ফোন থেকে কেউ গান বাজাচ্ছে। আপনাদেরও তো সিরিয়াসলি নিতে হবে ইকুয়ালি, কিন্তু আমাকে একা সিরিয়াসলি নিলে হবে না। তা হাইয়েস্ট ডিগ্রি অ্যাচিভ করতে যাচ্ছেন, আপনাদের তো একটু সিরিয়াস হতে হবে। সো দিস আর দ্য স্টাডি স্ট্র্যাটেজিজ। আমি আর কিছু বলবো না, আমার যতটা বলার বলে আমি ফিনিশ করে দেবো, কাউকে কিছু জিজ্ঞেসও করবো না। আমার মনে হয় যে আপনারা এটা পছন্দ করছেন না। The kind of verbs, use of verb is very important. The kind of verbs which are often used at the beginning of objectives are very useful, not only for that purpose, but also in general throughout the thesis. It is a good idea to maintain a list of such verbs. They may be characterized as verbs which describe an academic process, yet which imply that the process is continuing without reaching a definite conclusion. As you read thesis and academic books, make a note of such verbs. Here are some examples. We use certain common verbs to discuss means an idea. to examine a proposal, to analyze some data, to synthesize several ideas or propositions, to explore an issue, to reflect on a theoretical model, to investigate a range of concepts, to systematize some initial data, and to test a hypothesis. There are certain strategies relating to the literature review. First of all, keep a record of the phrases which academic writers use to express the provisional nature of their findings. You will find such phrases in thesis, research-based books, and academic journal articles. Analyze such phrases and then try to develop new ones to use in your own writing. Keep a record of the kinds of the evidence used by academic writers to support their arguments. Look carefully at the way in which they express their argument and then integrate their supporting evidence. Try to develop your own writing style to achieve this. এখানেও কনস্ট্যান্টলি কেউ সাউন্ড করে যাচ্ছেন, দেখুন আমি আমার কথা কিন্তু আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। যদি মনে হয় যে না এই ক্লাসটা লাগবে না তাহলে সিম্পলি আমি লিভ করছি। আমি বারবার পড়া সত্ত্বেও আই এম নট মেড কো-হোস্ট। কোনো একটা অন্য নামে কো-হোস্ট করা আছে। দিস ইজ অনলি প্রণামধর, আর একটা প্রফেসর প্রণামধর দেখতে পাচ্ছি, সেটা কো-হোস্ট করা আছে। প্রণামধরকে একটু কো-হোস্ট করতে হবে কাইন্ডলি। আমার নামে আর একটা লোক কোথা থেকে এলো সেটা আমি বুঝতে পারছি না, সে আবার রেকর্ডও করছে। And Sudipta, what are you trying to say? Please explain. Constant একটা হামিং সাউন্ড আছে কিন্তু।
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন আছে, করব?
হ্যাঁ বলুন।
স্যার ওই আমরা মানে ওই ভার্ব গুলো কেন ইউজ করছি, মানে আমি জানতে চাইছি টু ডিসকাস না দিয়ে আমি যদি অ্যান আইডিয়া দিতাম তাহলে আমার পেপারে কি অসুবিধা হতো, মানে এরকম আর কি, মানে টু এক্সামাইন না লিখে যদি আমি প্রপোজাল অন দিই, মানে এটা কারণটা
লিখবেন আপনি টু এক্সামিন না দিয়ে?
না, দেয়ার ইজ এ মানে আমি দেয়ার ইজ অ্যান আইডিয়া, মানে
কোনোটাই অসুবিধা হতো না, আমি আমার ক্লাসটা বন্ধ করে দিচ্ছি।
Sir, please continue, sir.
Yes, sir, it has disconnected.
Yes, sir, please continue. We are requesting you, sir.
Sir, please continue the class.
Sir, it is our request. Please continue, sir. Gopal Mari, on behalf of all.
Sir, please continue. This is Chinmay Shah.
Yes, sir, this is Aishwarya. Please continue, sir.
Now, please let us make sure first that nobody can unmute unless and until they are having some question. Please be careful in it. We are getting lots of annoying sounds. Seriously, we are getting lots of annoying sounds. Make yourself
Still now I can hear some horn. Still now I can hear.
Still now it is there is horn. There is somebody is talking to her child. This is going on.
Yes, we are looking forward for sir. And please do not unmute your mic until it is required.
whoever has unmuted their mic, please keep it mute, because already we are having some other noises as well. We are all actually getting some noises.
দিস ইজ এমডি আয়ুব শেখ। স্যার প্রথম দিন থেকেই বলছেন যে ডিউরিং ক্লাস কেউ আননেসেসারি কোশ্চেন করবেন না, আনমিউট করে রাখবেন না, কিন্তু তা সত্ত্বেও দেখা গেল যে একজন দুজন সেই কন্টিনিউ করে যাচ্ছেন। সুতরাং এটা ঠিক আমরা এটা এক্সপেক্ট করছি না। আমাদের মধ্যে কেউ কারোর এই এটার জন্য এটা ঘটছে। স্যার বিরক্ত যখন হচ্ছেন আমরা কেন সেইগুলো বারবার রিপিট করছি?
Okay, we are looking into it.
I want the question from Drupad Roy once again. What do you want to know?
Sir, please continue, sir. Sir, everybody is asking.
Drupad Roy raised hand. What do you want to know?
Drupad Roy, please unmute your mic.
Sir, Mr. Rising.
Your way of talking should be different with a teacher. I am a senior professor. You should ask like a researcher. এটা না হলে কি হতো, ওরকম লিখলে কি হতো? You should not ask like that. আপনি as researcher প্রশ্নটা করুন, আমি উত্তরটা দেব।
Sir,
and avoid Bengali language. Please avoid.
Sir, I am trying to getting that point that means the methods, means the writing methods, the verb what
verb should be used as verb only. You are saying that
yes sir, yes sir.
Write to proposal. To proposal does not have any meaning. You can write to propose. And I have suggested here to examine. To examine means to propose. You can write to propose. You can write to have an idea.
Okay, sir.
Instead of to discuss, you can write to have an idea.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Ma'am, sorry to disturb you, but I am getting given the way the researchers are dealing with this course. First of all, they are absent for the first 10 to 20 minutes, and they are asking orthodox questions. Because they are absent, they are putting forward some questions, and somebody is playing song from mobile phone. So I am giving my full effort. Apart from 10 to 5, I am having a lots of preparation time, and I am a senior professor in my university. I am professor for more than 7 years. So it is a request to you, if somebody like a stretcher like you, if you are present some 5 minutes and make them understand that this is a serious issue. Otherwise, I have to quit. I cannot continue.
Sorry. Why such a thing happened? I'm just entering. The classes are going on. No, I'm just entering, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Sorry for all this.
Thank you. I have re-entered as the request of Mr. Soikot Sarkar, but at this time, unlike the previous ones, the researchers are not present regularly, and some of them are not asking when I am asking, do you have face any problem? No response from them, and somebody is asking questions. It reflects that they are not in the class. That's why they are asking some other questions other than the class. So this should not happen. Otherwise, the serious participants are getting distorted. And if I have to write officially that this is happening, then I'll write officially with the name of the participants. And lots of WhatsApp messages are coming to me that I am not present due to this reason, that reason. I am not here to deal with the administrative matters.
Sure, sir. Just I'm entering, sir. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm skipping this slide for the time being. If you have any question, then you can ask afterwards. Please lower your hands, Dupad Roy. And these are the strategies for dealing with the literature review. In the literature review section, I have dealt with in thoroughly, but here I am again saying that keep a record of the phrases which academic writers use to express the provisional nature of their findings. I am showing you one good literature review once again. I'm giving you lots of examples, bringing lots of files. That does not mean that you will demean me. This is the research report of a major research project I'm showing you. The literature review portion only I'll show you. I'll start with the title page. This is the title page. This is the title page. Then this is the preface. This is the acknowledgement. These are the compulsory items you have to take into consideration in writing a thesis. Nobody will show you. This is the very hard world. Nobody will show you. I am showing you everything. You have to be more serious. Very sorry to say. So this is declaration. Then after that, this is table of contents, showing all the tables, exhibits, and so on. And you see, the chapter writing has its own style. There are certain sub points should take into consideration. This is a chapter 1. 1.0 is the introduction. 1.1, that means subsection 1 of chapter 1. This is statement of the problem. 1.2 is brief review of the literature, and so on. This is the common thesis writing strategy. And for the tables, again there are certain tables are mentioned. You see the tables are also mentioned in the same way. 3.1, 3.2, 4.1, 4.2. These are the list of tables mentioned afterwards. This is the list of table. You see 2.1 indicators of human development, 2.2 progress of Indian women, 2.3 demographic profile of West Bengal, and so on. That means within chapter 2 there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tables, and then in 11 tables, and then in chapter 3 there is no table. In chapter 4 there are different tables like 4.1, 4.2, etc. So these are the styles which make the thesis unique, different from the textbooks. And you see this is chapter 1, and at the front of the chapter you see this is the introduction, this is the statement of the problem. I am straight going to the literature review. And literature review, you see I have made it thematic. First of all, this is the literature review. 1.2.1 is microfinance and women empowerment. And the style you see, author, title of the paper, title of the journal, publisher and page number, methodology, findings, again going in the same way, and then going to the next theme. It is showing thematically here 13, 14, lots of literatures are there. Again, the next theme, you see that previous was international level. Within the same theme, that is women empowerment and women entrepreneurship. You see the first theme, the theme was on microfinance and women empowerment. Within this, there are two sections. This is international level, and the other literatures are shown on national level. These are the national level literatures, and these are the state level literatures. After that, the second theme, that is women entrepreneurship and women empowerment. This is the international level literature review, and then there are national level literature reviews. This is the national level, and then we come to the state level literature review. And after doing a very good literature review, again the third theme you see financial inclusion and women empowerment. Then again under this international, national and state level. So discussing all these things, all these thematic as well as periodic and as well as international and national level literature review. Ultimately, diagrammatically we have placed the research gap. You see there are three themes. This is the first one, microfinance and women empowerment, then women entrepreneurship and women empowerment, then financial inclusion and women empowerment. And just like mathematical formula, you see the ultimate research gaps are found out and combined together to find out the ultimate research gap, that is no comprehensive research work has been done to determine or point out the changing socio-economic conditions of rural women entrepreneurs in West Bengal in the light of present microfinance and financial inclusion objective. So this is the ultimate research objective, and when I see it after 5 or 6 years, I see that it should be improved. It should be specifically made for small and medium entrepreneurs. This is not mentioned anywhere in the research gap. So when you read and read and read, you can improve your research gap. You can improve your presentation of the literature review, and you can make it more logical and more pragmatic to the adjudicators, to the examiners. And when you are writing any research article, you should make it more practicable to the reviewers so that your research article is accepted. That's what I am trying to say. Now, Dr. Ranjita Vishwas has come. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. If you have to say anything, you can say. I'm stopping at this moment.
Ma'am. Yes, sir. Ma'am has joined. I think ma'am has one phone call.
Dr. Vishwas, if you have to say anything, you can say. Continuing, if Dr. Vishwas comes, please tell her to
Yes.
Okay. So I have shown you the way the literature review is to be shown from a practical research work of my own. Do you have any question at this point?
Sir, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Vishwas is there.
Hello, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
nice to see you. And the classes are going on full-fledged.
Yes.
So all the student participants here. So what about your attendance and all? Because I can see all of you are present here. So kindly be in the class at the right time. Okay. So right time means you have to enter the class at least 10 minutes ahead or 5 minutes ahead. So yesterday there was some problem because of some technical issue. We were not able to start. Otherwise, you have to be there and stop sending unnecessary WhatsApp messages to Professor Dhar. Okay. He is your faculty here. He is the professor who will be teaching you. And if you have any questions regarding the subject, regarding any query related to the subject, then only you are going to message him or ask the question in the class itself. right? He is giving all his time to you all. So please respect that kind of commitment that he's showing to teach this class, okay? So I don't want any kind of disturbances happening from your side or any delay, right? Like some of you are playing music. So please don't do that. For your convenience, I have kept it online. Otherwise, it will be offline, okay? And if this anything, you are troubling professor in any way, then we are going to stop this session. And then during the puja holiday, I'll call you all in the campus. It will be an offline course then. Then be here, stay here and study, okay? So please take care of this. I also understand that you all are busy, you all are in various places, but this is a mandatory course and you get an opportunity to study with such an eminent professor, right? Just go through some of his books. And I know you are attending his class for last few days. You must be knowing the kind of expertise he has in this area and also the patience with which he teaches you all. He's spending whole day with you all, okay? So do you have any problem? Just let me know right now. Anybody is having any issues? You can raise your hand. So try to have academic discussion, okay? It's a very big opportunity that you are sitting in his class. So take this opportunity and learn more about his field and the field that you are working on right now, that is research and publication ethics. You will be a supervisor after some time, right? So just don't forget that, okay? So don't think that he is on the other side and you are on the other side. We all are academicians, have due respect for his time, okay? And whatever assignment is coming, please complete the assignments and submit it on time. If the number of assignments and is there any delays there on your part, then your result will be withheld, okay? So such things should not happen. Your exam will be through online mode, that will be on Saturday, and otherwise, just follow whatever has been told by him. Just complete the assignment. It is so simple. Why it is becoming so difficult? So anybody trying to create disturbance are welcome to take classes in the offline mode, be in the campus, and then you will not get a chance to study with Professor Dhar. I will find some other teacher and you will stay in the campus for 7 days and the classes will be held here. As simple as this. Sir, I am very sorry.
Thank you so much,
because
ma'am, because you have told everything that was to be told. Because just think about Orpita Chatterjee. He just told me in the chat box right now that it is not me that I am doing this, and she said sorry now to you. So this is the difference in words, and this is happening for the last 2 days. For the first day it was very good, but my experience has become bitter for the last 2 days. And thank you for helping me out, because now we are not understanding what we are losing. If you have to move to the Horingata campus for 7 days and with a different teacher, and that is also for 10 to 5 physically, then I'll understand. And afterwards I understand when nobody will be there to guide me how to write my thesis, and I have to move to my supervisor for 5-6 years, then I'll understand. So you have told it very rightly. Thank you for cooperating. And at the end of the day, it's very true. I was also very annoyed. So please forgive me if I have said anything wrong to you. But at the end of the day, we are all teachers. We are all teachers, and you are all teachers also. The participants also, most of you are teachers. So if you behave like that in this classroom, how do you expect that your students will behave rightly in your classroom? You may have misconception. You can rightly point out in the class, but in a right manner, not in the other manner. Because I am also giving my best effort, and the officials present here, they are putting their best effort. And university is conducting this official program, not any personal webinar is going on. So take it in that way and think of the other way. If you have to expend 5 days physically during the puja holidays, then it will increase your transportation cost also. take that into account. And if you have to carry your laptop, the damage cost is to be borne by yourself. So these things are not to be told here. Very sorry, ma'am, for taking your time, but I am moving back to my. Actually, I was so annoyed. I moved from the WhatsApp group also. So these do not happen anywhere. I am very cool-headed person, but I was very annoyed. To tell you frankly, now I'm moving back to my job. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind cooperation. I needed this sort of cooperation for the sake of students only. I am an old haggard. I am going to the graveyard. But what the damage will be done to the students, and they will understand afterwards. I have supervised 21 have already been awarded. 23 MPhil and 21 PhDs have already been awarded under my supervision, and only 3-4 are left now. I will not take further students, but the students will understand if MAKAUT is strict enough to put one physics teacher or one computer science teacher or something like that, and very old person, they do not have that much courage to do this, what they are doing with me. Very sorry to say. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I am moving back to my business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sorry again for all the inconvenience caused.
No issue. Thank you.
Thank
you
you,
are
sir.
there, so I am very much grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I am back to my business. I already make you understand how to deal with the literature properly. And again, I am repeating those words. And if you have any question, definitely you may have question, but your mannerism should be proper. You ask question, please. No problem. Conduct a brief survey of the literature in possibly relevant areas in order to obtain a feeling of the available literature. Analyze the title of the thesis and of the provisional aims in order to determine the keywords and the terms which are important in the research study. Examine and analyze any preliminary data or pilot studies which have been conducted and place that data in provisional categories. Compare the title, aim, any preliminary data and the literature which appears to be available and determine the categories for the chapter, and be prepared to amend to combine some of these categories as the literature review process evolves. Now, certain literature study strategies. Already I have dealt with in detail regarding the literature review, so I am skipping this slide. Now I will explain three new terms. Some of you may heard it, but some others it is totally new. Ontology, epistemology, and methodology. The term ontology may be used to refer to the fundamental nature of the world and what it means to exist in that world. And epistemology, in philosophical terms, is the study of the grounds on which we claim to know something about the world. And the term methodology may be used in different ways. So, take a practical example. Yesterday, I took an example of researching on dividend policy. I'm switching to a different topic. Suppose I am doing research on the bank customers' perception regarding the corporate social responsibility of the banks. First, I have to go to the related literature. I have to make a generalized literature survey by reading the report on banking and finance, the annual report of RBI, the monthly RBI bulletin, report on currency and finance, basic statistical return of RBI, and so on. These are the good textbooks and review books available to research with banking. This is known as ontology, that is doing the general groundwork of fundamental nature. Then I'll switch to epistemology, that is to find out the philosophy, which specific area I am trying to enter into. That is, I am trying to enter into the perception area of the clients regarding CSR. Then I have to go through the particular provisions of corporate social responsibility relating to banking. Till date, they are available with the Companies Act, but not with the banking regulations. Banking regulations act was written in the year 1949, and the Payment and Settlement System Act is written in the year 2007, but nowhere directly corporate social responsibility is mandated, but it is mandated as per the Companies Act 2013. and amended in Companies Act 2020. So I have to deal with certain relevant literatures which deal with the CSR practices in the banking sector. So this is known as epistemology. After considering the textbooks, that is ontology, after considering the research articles, that is epistemology, now I will be confident about how to deal with the methodology. Now, Sanjeevan Sarkar, you raised your hand. Please ask your question.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, actually, when we are going for literature survey at the very initiation of the research topic itself, sir, in our case, sir, I'm a professional from pharmaceutical background. We have so many common, sir, this means whatever we go in for, we find something is there in already someone is working, sir.
Your topic, could you just, I am trying to have that question only. Please
Yes.
explain your topic you have thought in your mind.
So, for example, if I search from some my literature, some novel say excipients which are used in pharmaceutical use right now, novel excipients. I want to emphasize on something else. So, whatever excipient I am typing out, I find that something has been done, sir.
So
But
your title you want to make unique.
yes, sir,
And
yes, sir.
your research you want to make unique. For that,
Yes, sir.
you have to
Yes, sir.
change the study period, you have to
Okay.
change the study area, and
Okay.
you have to use different types of quantitative, that is statistical research methodology.
Right, sir.
These three changes will make your title unique. That is,
Okay,
you
sir.
change the study area
Okay.
and make it narrow. If you live in
Okay, sir.
Kolkata, where do you reside?
Sir, I reside in Barakpur, sir.
In Barakpur. So
Yes, sir.
you can make study on North 24 Pargona. Just
Right, sir.
go to the statistical handbook, district statistical abstract or handbook. You can
Okay,
have
sir.
it from CSO library or ISI library. And
Okay.
you can have it from internet also. And if you
Right, sir.
collect the district statistical handbook, from there
Right,
you
sir.
can easily get how many blocks, how many subdivisions of municipality, corporation, cantonment board. Barakpur is having one cantonment board, and
Right, sir.
panchayats are there in Barakpur. Now,
Right, sir.
specifically choose some of them, some from each of them, from
Okay.
municipality, cantonment board, from the panchayat. Each of these subdivisions have some blocks and some moja, some households. You choose
Right.
some of them, and then you
Okay.
can define your area, that in the area of Barakpur subdivision or in the
Right, sir.
district of not 24 Pargona. Put it inside your title, then your title will be unified, unique one, different
Okay.
from the previous titles. Then you change
Right,
your
sir.
study area. Obviously,
Okay,
your
sir.
previous researcher has studied maybe from 2010 to 2016 or 2005 to 2010 and so on. And now if you choose your study area, study period from 2022 to the 2000, suppose it is 2010 to 2022 or 2015 to 2022, then at least 10 years study period you have to choose. And if you make your study on the basis of primary data, then it is totally unique. So
Right,
make
sir.
your research study unique with the inclusion of these things, what I told you. That
Right, sir.
I have one scholar, you will know her. She is the able daughter of the famous actress Papia Adhikari. So
Oh,
her
ho, ho.
name is Sukhatana De, and she
Acha,
has
sir.
completed her PhD under my supervision in the area of
Okay.
Ayurveda. She was
Wow.
initially, she is past MBA from ISWBM and came to
Okay.
my university for research, and she asked for the client's perception and also the dealer's perception regarding the Ayurveda medicines.
Okay,
So
sir.
ultimately the title was made free, and it is not a one-way game. It is
Right,
the
sir.
exercise process of 6 months, 7 months, 8 months to finalize the topic. So
Right, sir.
let us do that first, and then
Okay,
your
sir.
topic will be unique.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Okay.
Did you get my point, all the points?
Yes, sir. Exactly, sir. Unique one, and the study period has to be specific. then the
Study
title
period
should
and
be
study area should be
study
unique,
area. Yes,
so
sir.
that
Yes, sir.
your thesis should not be imitated or
Yes.
pressurized. You may make it unique so that it is a new work.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Shoma Kumar, your question was regarding to analyze the research gap. You are not to analyze the research gap. You are to find out the research gap. Just what I told to Mr. Sanjeevan Sarkar, you use that exercise only. You read the previous researches, literature review in the tabular form, what I explained, what I shown you in my research. Then you will automatically find out the research gap regarding the study period, regarding the study area. I am definite that Soma Kumar, you belong to which place?
Sir, Ichapur, not 24 Parganas.
Not 24 Parganas. You are trying to do research in which area?
In sustainable tourism and with the selected beaches of West Bengal, I have selected three
Sustainable
beaches.
tourism in selected
Yes.
beaches. That
Yes,
means
sir. I
Digha
have
is there,
selected three
Shankarpur
beaches,
is there,
sir.
Udaipur is there, Tajpur is there. There are different beaches, and also Bokhali is there.
Yes, sir. Sir, I had opted for Bokhali, Digha, and Mandarmani.
Bokhali, Digha, and
Mandarmani.
Mandarmani. So you can make a comparative study. Your title may be like that: a comparison of the tourists' perception, a comparative study on the tourists' perception relating to the sustainable tourism facilities available in such and such places. This should be your title. You can take two or three areas. You can take two areas because 1:1 comparison is better. One is in North 24 Pargana and the other is in Midnapur. So among the two districts, using the same sustainable tourism practice in beach side, you can compare. And when you are taking three, you have to substantiate why you are taking three, why you are taking two beaches within one district. Then it will be difficult. If it is not finalized, then I will suggest you that you can make a comparison between the demographic pattern of South 24 Pargana and Midnapur. You see, in Bokhali sea beaches, lots of people are coming only for some other pleasures, not to be mentioned here in public platform. Only tourism is not the objective. They are coming for different other illicit objectives. But unlike that, in Digha, most of the family persons, they are going to the sea beaches to have some pleasure only, have some family pleasure, family fun, not for the private pleasure. This is the big difference. And other demographic differences are there. As large number of tourists move to Digha and Mandarmani, the price level is comparatively low in comparison with the price level at Bokhali. Facilities are also different. Some more facilities made by Digha Tourism Authority, which are not yet made by the Tourism Authority of South 24 Pargana. The Bokhali security is somewhat different from the security in Digha and Mandarmani. And also the facilities, the infrastructure, although at Mandarmani there is a frequent power cut, but in Digha it's not so. So lots of comparative factors are there. You can make a comparative study when you are taking one at South 24 Pargana and one at Midnapur. It is inter-district comparison. But if you go for intra-district comparison, you have to compare first between Digha and Mandarmani for intra, and for inter you have to compare between Digha and this Bokhali. So now you have understood how to deal with your studies. I think you have got some idea.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, I have one more query or question, you can say. And for that, I had also proposed and coined one novel concept of my study, and that is dive into depth. After several review of literatures, I came to know that this concept have never been given by anyone,
Which
any other
concept you
scholar.
write in chat box?
Yes, I will, sir. Give me a minute.
Meanwhile, I am taking the question of Shomik Dotto. How to write reviews in my own language to avoid plagiarism. Shomik Dotto, are you here?
Yes, sir. I am here.
So think about your school days when you were in class 5.
Yes, sir.
You were very honest, like me. And we both are dishonest now because of our huge work pressure. Not dishonest, but we are not putting those efforts. If you put efforts like class 5, very honestly reading and after 1 hour writing, then only this is the medicine to avoid the plagiarism.
Yes, sir.
Only reading, reminding, keeping in memory and writing.
Okay.
There is no other software. There are lots of softwares which can change the sentence construction, but why don't you think that the same software is with me? You just change one sentence and place it to me, and just with the help of same software, I'll be changing that sentence and give it back to you in its old pattern. So do not do that. You just do the traditional way. You use the traditional method of reminding to avoid plagiarism. Then
Yes, sir.
Orpita Chatterjee, thank you, sir. Orpita Chatterjee, emerging influence of psychoanalysis and hyper reality in social media. So please help with what research gaps should I consider. You rely on case studies, some psychoanalysis you do on the hyper reality. Hyper reality, by hyper reality, what I mean that some real videos are there which are not real in nature. Would you like to mean like that, Orpita Chatterjee?
And the Instagram filters and whatever we are doing are actually fake.
Exactly. They are putting some real videos, and somebody is eating so much. Really, in reality, he or she cannot eat like that. Somebody is jumping from the high mountain, and somebody is doing something else. That is hyper reality. And you want to do the psychoanalysis. You want to study the relationship between psychoanalysis and hyper reality. That is a psychology related research. You use ethnographic study. You take in-depth interview of those candidates, and in research gap you just mention that I want to make that study in a different form. I want to make in-depth interview with the psychologists, with the patients, and with the youth who are doing this regularly. So from these three sides, I'll have to arrive my conclusion.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then Soma Kumar, you have written this, na?
Yes, sir. I had written in my.
Depth.
Yes,
Dive
sir.
in depth. Yes, dive in depth is a new methodology. But I don't have a idea of dive in depth. What is the methodology dealing with? Is it a qualitative or quantitative methodology?
Sir, qualitative.
Qualitative. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can go for qualitative study. Lots of tools are available for that. So you can do that. And if you want to make the perception study, there are lots of literatures dealing with perception study. I would like to prescribe one book, that is Deepak Chawla and Nina Shodhi. Deepak
Yes, sir.
Chawla and Nina Shodhi, very good research methodology book. Both are
Okay,
from
sir.
IIT Delhi and Delhi University. They have written the book, and there are lots of case studies dealing with different types of analysis, lots of samples of questionnaires. Please go through that book. And
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Pardon me, sir, if you kindly guide us whether the assignment of today first half need to be in MS Excel and SPSS both. This is not a research question. I've already explained. Take it from your friends. I already explained what is to be done. I think you were not there in the class.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, this is Aishwarya. I'm a media person, media faculty. I have thought about doing a research topic, which is of mine is citizen journalism, a study of trust and journalistic ethics with comparison with traditional media. Sir, in this, there is not much of research what I have seen in India, but there are researches and there are journals which we speak about from the international level. So, sir, what should I focus on for literature review? And sir, the next step, how do I proceed with that for the literature review? Because
So you
India,
said in this area, lots of international studies are there.
yes, but India te auto nahi.
This is your good place to research. You just study the gap, what they dealt with, their methodology. You study carefully their methodology in those researches, and whether those methodologies you can apply in your study area, in your study period. So you apply those methodologies in your study area. You make, you differentiate your study area in India. Don't make it India. Don't make it India.
So
you make it narrower.
Narrower,
In West Bengal, in Kolkata, what you will be able to do, because you have to wrap up within 2.5 to 3 years. Don't make it like that you have to continue with your research for 7 years. For that, you have to narrow your study area, make it Kolkata, or make it 1 district, 2 district in West Bengal. And that's why that's how your research will be unique research. It's not that you'll get, I'm not demeaning anybody, but it's a general idea. You will not get any Nobel Award or Nobel Prize from your research. Only thing is that you will get your PhD. So after PhD, you broaden your area for other research projects and do good publications. But first of all, have a good idea of how to do research for PhD. For that purpose, narrow your area, because you and your supervisor both are busy. So narrow your everybody. I'm saying this to everybody. Narrow your study area and make it very pinpointed so that you can collect the data and you can wrap up the whole work. Collection of the data is a huge task. So this is my suggestion to narrow your area.
ठीक है, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other question from anybody else? So I proceed. Now I have talked about lots of research design. Drupad Roy sir is present here. You may ask why you have written this, why not the others, but yes, I have written this. You have to ask these questions to you as researcher while drawing the design, research design. Firstly, where did I decide to collect the data and why? What kind of data did I decide to collect and why? Who did I ask to provide the data and why? How did I go about asking them? Why did I use that approach? What arrangements did I use to collect the data? Why did I choose those arrangements? Did I ask people for formal permission to conduct the research? Did I offer anyone guarantee about why the research should be conducted or reported? How did I analyze the data? Why that method only? How did I disseminate the findings and why? This you ask yourself repeatedly. This may change your research design, or this may dictate your research design. How you do your research design, that may be dictated with the answering of these questions to you only. These are just some of the questions you will need to ask yourself. Many others will almost certainly occur to you in course of time when you continue with your research. Then writing about your research sample. Some of the key questions you would address yourself are: how would you define your research population? How did you create your sample from the research population? Will the sample provide appropriate data to address the research aims? Is the sample of an adequate size? If your sample is a non-probability sample, have you described the criteria which include some people and include others? Have you discussed the extent to which you hope to generalize from the sample to the research population. So these are the things you deal with the research sample. You have to critically think about the research sample. Then type of data in a thesis. The arguments in a thesis may be based upon the analysis of empirical data or upon the analysis of concepts. Empirical data may be qualitative or quantitative. Quantitative data may be collected by such methods as questionnaires or rating scales. Qualitative data may be collected by methods such as interviews, life history accounts, or discussion groups. Yes, good evening, sir. Sorry, one call came from Vikas Bhavan. Now I think I'm audible. Types of data in a thesis. I have talked about sample. I have talked about research design. Then I have come to type of data. The arguments in a thesis may be based upon the analysis of empirical data or upon the analysis of concepts. Empirical data may be qualitative or quantitative. Quantitative data may be collected by such methods already explained, like questionnaires, the rating scales, the interview schedules, etc. The qualitative data may be collected by interview, by in-depth interview, by ethnographic study, life history accounts, or discussion group. Even the method prescribed by Shoma Kumar, it is also included in that qualitative method. I have also learned from Shoma Kumar. One of the new methods I will study it I will have an in-depth study, and if get a chance, I'll do some paper with Shoma Kumar. This will be a good paper. If you invite me for co-authorship, Shoma Kumar is there. Shoma Kumar, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay, but Shoma Kumar is not responding.
Yes, sir, it is audible. Soma Kumar, madam, it is audible now?
But they are answering. Atanu Pal, Shoma Kumar. Yes. Yes. Aishwarya also answered. So Shoma Kumar, I'll be doing a good paper with you if got a chance. Thank you. And this is the learning process. I have more than 300 research papers, and all are not written by me. I have met different people in different parts of the world. At least with 23 countries, I am academically associated, but every day I learn from them. I cannot claim that I know everything. So this is a process. Now, criteria for the selection of data. There are a variety of possible strategies which you could use to select some data for analysis and to discard other data. Each of these strategies may be more relevant in some contexts than others. If a certain proportion of respondents all raise a particular issue, then that data may be selected. Some data may concur with findings from previous research. The researcher may take a subjective decision that certain respondents should be regarded as key respondents, and that data they provide should normally be included in the analysis. Where methodological triangulation has been employed, certain types of data may occur between methods. Respondents may themselves suggest a hierarchy of data, indicating that some issues are more significant than others. Some themes or issues may recur in data collected from a later sample of respondents, which is different from the earlier respondents. So these are the difference in the nature of the data, and you have to select the correct data.
इंग्लिश देखो तुम्हारा कैसा इंग्लिश है देखो इंग्लिश
Now taking one example of field research describing the research setting. If you have conducted research in a B.Ed college, that is the further education college, you might wish to write in general way about some of the following features in order to explain the context of the research. The general layout of the college and its non-specific location. For example, if it is in Northeast India, then you have to write it. The nature of the students' catchment area, the number of students enrolled, the range of courses offered, relationship with neighboring academic institutions, number of academic and support staff, college resources, distribution of student numbers between departments and courses. Assuming that the name and immediate location of the college are anonymized, then there is no reason for the above details to reveal the college identity. Now, these are the generalized writing you have to make at the prelude, that is introductory section, before going into the deep details in research. Now, writing about the analysis of quantitative data. You have to present quantitative data. I have shown you my thesis and other thesis in the morning. There are certain frequency distribution table. This is called tabular presentation. There are some presentations based on that. try to be as clear and transparent as possible in the way you describe the data analysis. This will help the reader and make your thesis more understandable. Look at articles in a range of different academic journals and note the different forms of tabular presentations and of figures. Think about your own data and the different methods you could use to present it. Qualitative data can also be presented in tabular form when it is quantified. Look for different examples and consider how you might use those strategies. Would they help you in presenting your data? Would they help the reader to understand your arguments? Now, writing about the conclusion, drawing together the threads of the argument. Hello? হ্যাঁ বলুন। হ্যাঁ বলুন। Now, while you are writing on the conclusion, you have to draw together the threads of the argument. Now, examine whether the objectives have been achieved. Sir, বলুন ক্লাসে রয়েছি। So, you have to examine whether the objectives, research objectives have been achieved. Conclusion chapter is very seriously written. First, you draw together all the analysis, and from there you summarize to the conclusion. Then you examine whether all the objectives have been achieved. Again, I am showing you the mathematics. These are the objectives, these are the methodologies, and these are the analysis, and these are the findings, and these are the conclusions. So there is a chain you have to maintain. And suppose there are 4 objectives, four methodologies are employed, then for each of them you have made 3 findings. So 3 into 4, that is 12 findings, and combine them into one conclusion. So this is very tough job. You have to repeatedly revise your conclusion and draw your conclusion accordingly. Now you have to emphasize on the contribution of the knowledge. This is very much intended question in research articles specifically. How much your original contribution is being added to the existing knowledge with the help of your research article or with the help of your research. So you have to emphasize on the contribution to knowledge. You have to establish to the reviewer this much knowledge you have added. This is your original contribution which added to the existing knowledge base of the existing research. Now develop practical recommendations, and so based on your conclusion, up to this there is conclusion, and after that you have to develop your practical recommendations. You have to write the recommendations and also the limitations. There are definitely some limitations of your research, you know very well. That is the limitation due to sample size, limitation due to the limited use of statistics, and due to the limited use of the methodology, and other factors present, maybe inconveniences faced at the time of data collection and others, and maybe the time frame, maybe that it is a self-financed research. These limitations you have to mention honestly in the thesis, but the list should not be so large that it seems that all are only the limitations. No achievement is done with the help of the research work. So that should not be done. Limitations might be 2 or 3. Objectives might be 3 or 4. Conclusion might be 1 or 2. And findings might be 12, 13, 15, 20 maximum, not 100. So this is an art of writing your thesis. Now thinking critically about the thesis after you have completed writing your thesis. Look back on your research project and the writing of your thesis, and ask yourself the following questions. Should I have revised the objectives or aims? Are they too broad, or are they too narrowly focused and restrictive? Did I look widely enough for relevant literature? Are there areas of research at which I should have looked? Did I employ the correct strategy for choosing my sample? Was there any way in which I should have been more careful in collecting my data? Were there ethical issues which I should have addressed more fully? Was I sufficiently rigorous in the data analysis? Did I explain my procedures sufficiently fully to the reader of the thesis? Are there questions of validity or reliability which I should have addressed? Do my findings meet the requirements for a thesis at this level? So these are the questions you have to ask critically to yourself. Now coming to the very important issue, that is size of the thesis. You may be asking the questions like how lengthy the thesis should be. It is an idea I am giving to you. Of course, this may vary from research to research, subject to subject, but this is a generalized idea. If your thesis is of 500 pages, because one page consisting of Times New Roman 12 point and 1.5 spacing, it consists of 100 words in a page with 1.5 line spacing. So if there are 50,000 words, then there are 500 pages thesis. It should be divided like this. For introduction, 50 pages, literature review, 80 pages, methodology, 70 pages, and data presentation, if having 3 chapters, for each of the 3 chapters, 80 pages each, and for conclusion and recommendation, 60 pages. This is only a possible guide for the apportionment of the total word length to individual chapters. However, the structure of different theses will vary considerably. For example, thesis based on qualitative data may require longer data presentation and analysis chapters from thesis based upon quantitative data. Now the role of supervisor. Role of supervisor is very important. What is the role of the supervisor? You have to learn. It is the role of the supervisor to help the student to develop a detailed research proposal. He or she provides advice on the research design, data collection, and data analysis. He or she guides the student in the writing of the thesis. Just I am coming, 1 minute. Someone has come. So again, I am stating the role of the supervisor. Supervisor here is to help the student to develop a detailed research proposal and to provide the advice on the research design, data collection and data analysis, guiding the student in the writing of the thesis, nominating potential examiners for the viva examination. So a list of 6 examiners, that is called adjudicators, has to be prepared by the supervisor and to be placed to the vice chancellor through the convener of the Board of Research Studies. And among them, out of 6, the vice chancellor ticks 2 in my university. I don't know about MAKAUT. There may be 7 in some universities. Out of that, as per UGC regulation, it is 2 ultimately, and 1 the supervisor himself or herself. So total there are 3 examiners or adjudicators out of the list of 6 or 7. So supervisor is one of the examiners. So this is also one of the important role. And also for viva voce, the supervisor places another 2-3 names within the state, and from 2-3 names, the vice chancellor ultimately puts tick on one, and he or she takes the viva voce, conducts the viva voce, and he or she is the external examiner, and supervisor is the internal examiner. Their joint report for the viva voce will be submitted to the university authority, and ultimately it will help the candidate to get the award. So this is the whole procedure. So role of the supervisor is everywhere. So supervisor is again advising the student on preparation for the viva voce, providing this is the only examination where the examiner, that is the supervisor, informally helps the student in getting prepared for the whole examination. So this is the only examination, unlike the other examinations where the examiner do not help the students directly or indirectly. Apart from their classes, they do not help the students in getting prepared for the examination. But here supervisor is there as examiner, and this is legally made possible that although he or she is the examiner, he or she is guiding the student every way in getting prepared for the thesis submission as well as for the viva voce examination, and providing advice on administrative matters throughout the research program and advising the student on an appropriate research training program. So these are the role of the supervisor. So did you know this beforehand, the exact role of the supervisor?
No, sir.
So I think you should be with the supervisor, not by giving him or her gift, not by dealing with in an unfriendly manner, or not by misbehaving in any other manner, but the things you should do with the supervisor are like this: strategies to be with the supervisor. There is a famous book by Oliver Sheldon of Sage publication. Oliver Sheldon, Sage. The name of the book is Report Writing. So in research methodology, each of the chapters is dealt with by several books. There is very less combined book on research methodology. So this is the book on research report writing. Yes, supervisor will be there while physically defending. Now it is made open by you, not only supervisor, lots of people will be there, like the students, the scholars, the teachers of the other teachers of the department, maybe the vice chancellor, the registrar, or the dean, or the secretary of the faculty council. Everybody will be present in the viva voce. So what are the strategies to be with the supervisor? Try to think of ways in which you can help your supervisor to help you. For example, a few days before the tutorial, before you meet physically your supervisor, you email your supervisor with a list of things you are uncertain about, or perhaps aspects of methodology on which you would like advice. Your supervisor will then be able to plan more effectively to the tutorial. When you send your supervisor a draft of your work, use a highlighting pen to indicate sections on which you would particularly appreciate some comments. If you know of other commitments developing in your life, make your supervisors aware of them. And don't tell lie. You should be with the supervisor telling everything rightly, and then they will not have undue expectations of the amount of work you can produce. Now, regarding grammar, punctuation, and conventions of academic writing, you should not switch from first person to third person. Always be consistent. Use in specific circumstances. There should be gender neutral language. There should be a specific layout for quotations. The Harvard system of referencing or the APA or the MLA system of referencing should be followed. And referencing websites should be of particular design. Websites should also be referenced. Like when you are referring any website, you should write the date and time of surfing that particular website. Only the name of the website will not suffice. You should write the date and time of surfing the particular website. You have surfed for more than 10 days, 15 days. You should write the dates and times accordingly. Then use of notes and footnotes should be done carefully. Non-English terms and expressions should be taken care of. That is the Latin word for ornamentation. What is APA system? I am coming to that. Please wait. Yes, Sanjeevan Sarkar, thank you. And I have prepared for you only. This is your intellectual property, not mine. I'll be uploading this material. And these are the examples of Latin words and their uses. A fortiori, that means with greater reason. Ceteris paribus means other things being equal. Ex post facto means after the event has occurred. Ipso facto means by the very fact. Magnum opus, that means great work or most significant work. Non sequitur, that means does not follow. Prima facie, that means at first sight. Sine qua non, that means a necessary condition. Ultra vires means beyond legal rights. Off sheet, this is very much used in the thesis or other works. Off sheet and ebid. Off sheet means opus citrus. That means same reference used again after others. And ebid, I will show you the difference. Suppose you referred my book on Pidhor, a particular book on ethics. I have a book on ethics. So Pidhor, ethics, and page number, suppose 73 to 75 in the first page of your thesis. Then again on the third page, there is no reference on the second page. On the third page, again you are writing, sorry, you have to write here the name of the book of ethics, the publisher, the place, the publication house name, etc. All details you have to mention here. If it is a journal, then you have to mention the name of the full name of the article, the name of the journal, then the page numbers. Suppose it is given in the page 1 of your thesis. In page 2, there is no reference. In page 3, again the same reference is given. Then you just write ebid, but different page. So ebid, page 77. So this is the concept of ebid. When there are same reference simultaneously with no reference or no other reference in between, then you place ebid. But suppose in page 2 you have placed one reference, that is suppose in page 2 one reference from suppose Sarma such and such, there is a different reference. Again when you are mentioning this article of Pidhor, then here instead of ebid you have to write Pidhor off sheet page 77. So when the same reference is coming after one other reference in between, then we have to write the same author's name with offsheet and then different page number. But if there is no other reference in between, then it will be, in case of third reference, in case of second reference, it will be EBID P77. So this is the difference between EBID and offset. And another very important word, that is quinquennial. Quinquennial means with a 5 years gap. Now the 5 years plan has been abolished, but in my thesis I had to mention this frequently because 5-year planning were prevalent in those days, and I had to take the 5-year planning data. Already I explained these words, some of them are here also. EG means example, you all know it. Then ed means editor. Et al means, suppose Pidhar et al means Pidhar is one of the authors, there are other authors. Then fig means figure, EBID, offset I have mentioned. So these are the ornamentation you have to deal with and deal with carefully for ornamenting your thesis. Now I am coming to just spelling, that is English and American spelling. If you use English term like behavior, BEHAVIOUR, this is the English spelling. And what is the American spelling? BEHAVOUR, VIOR. So this is the American spelling. If you write one English spelling in one place and the same word different spelling in different place, that is not intended. You should be consistent. When you use American spelling, you should be using American spelling. When you use English spelling, you should be always use English spelling. Then use of abbreviation. When you are using abbreviation, definitely you should be mentioning at the end of the thesis, and there should be one glossary mentioning all the abbreviations. Then when you are italicizing or capitalizing, it should have some connotation, meaning the use of hyphen, dash, etc. should be carefully used. There is a difference between hyphen and dash, and that should be used carefully. And there is another word I am again using, that is consistency. How many co-authors can be included in any research paper? No, there is no specification. Study strategy. When reading academic books or thesis, make a list of the non-English expressions which you encounter. If you do not know the meaning, then consult a dictionary. Nowadays in MS Word, thesaurus is available. If you are not familiar with the phrase, then the chances are that many other readers were in the same position. For each term or expression, try to develop a straightforward English alternative. Now, contents of the appendix. Only include essential documents in the appendix. Consider placing items in the main thesis rather than in the appendix. Raw data should only exceptionally be included. A blank copy of a questionnaire or interview schedule may be included. The inclusion of long official documents should be avoided. Then this is the ultimate. I think no one else will show you. This is the adjudication report of the PhD thesis. This is one of the theses. I have adjudicated more than 250 theses, and this is one of the reports, confidential, but it was awarded in 2013. So ultimately I am showing this to you, and these are the ultimate words for which you are doing everything. Hence the thesis is highly commended, and the public viva voce may be conducted, and the degree may be awarded to the researcher. So these are the words for which, this is the sentence for which you are doing your research. Please do not take any screenshot. Now report, there is a difference between report writing and research paper writing. Why report writing skills are important? Because of this thing. You have to you have to write briefly but pinpointedly. Suppose I have 2 daughters, both are girls. I have 2 children, both are girls. I have 2 children, both daughters, and I have 2 daughters. Which one is correct? Everyone is every point is correct. Which one is more perfect? One has written Arup Dasgupta written third, and the others are written last one and four. Yes, the last one. I have two daughters. It means everything. Daughters are obviously girls. No daughter is boy, and no son is girl. So it is generalized. Nothing needed to write that I have two daughters, both are girls. So this depicts that your report writing should be brief, pinpointed, and dealing with the business only. Dealing with the business, that is, your business is to satisfy your adjudicator, satisfy your stakeholder, and satisfy your next generation researcher with the help of literature review, with the addition to the contribution of the knowledge. So we need to do report writing for thesis of MPhil, PhD, MBA, or like that, and for writing research papers and articles, for conference presentations, and for projects from UGC, ICSSR, etc. So what is research report? A research report is a document or oral presentation based on a written document that communicates the purpose, scope, objectives, hypothesis, methodology, findings, limitations, and finally recommendations of a research project to others. Now, the research report writing is the last stage in the research process. It is more than a summary of findings. It is a record of the research process. The researcher has to convince the target readers for the factuality and contribution of the research work. These are the stages for the report preparation and presentation process. So first we identify the problem. We have already dealt with previously. First we identify the problem, then we deal with the research design and methodology. Then we go for the collection of data and data analysis, and then we go for the interpretation of research findings. Then we go for the report preparation. Then we go for the oral presentation. Then we start reading of the report by the examiner, and lastly there is research follow-up. If everything is okay, if it is your thesis, it is published. If it is your research article, then also it is published. If it is your thesis, then the viva voce is conducted and your award is being given. So this is true for all the researches like research papers, research articles, or the thesis. Now, up to this, that is up to the stage of data analysis, it is called pre-report writing activities. And these things like interpretation of research findings, report preparation, and oral presentation, they are known as report writing activities. And the last one, that is reading of the report by the examiner and research follow-up, then they are known as post-report writing activities. So do you have anything to ask here? Can a research report be negative also? No answer. কখন আসবে? So research report is not COVID report. So it should not be positive or negative. So actually I could not get your question, Sanjeevan sir. Research report cannot be negative. There is no negativity. Research report is a description of the research. Sir, the loop at last step is for feedback. Yes. Feedback means if it is your thesis, viva voce is conducted. If it is your research, the article is published. Here it is not called feedback, it is called follow-up. Can you please elaborate more interpretation of research findings? Yes, research findings. How do you want to get the interpretation? Research findings are the results of data analysis. The data analysis are to be explained suitably. I have shown you one thesis. I am showing it again. These are the interpretations I am going to show you. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Yes, this is the research report, and I am showing you the findings. Give me some time. These are the data analysis part, and after the data analysis part, these are the frequency table and analysis relating to each and every research question. And after that, there are certain statistical methods applied here. And I'm going to show you the details at the end. But now, if you want to see it, I am going to show you. These are the further analysis. For example, this is the analysis relating to reliability and validity. And this is a top research methodology part and research analysis part. So I think you were not getting that, so I skipped that. If you want that, I can show you how to get the reliability and validity. So this was conducted in this report. This is my research report of the major research project, and this is the factor analysis conducted. And at the last part, I took the perception study of empowerment with the help of structure equation modeling, that is SEM. And here also we got the diagram and analysis. After that, this is the explanation, and this is the path diagram. This is also explained, and this path diagram has certain indicators. This was also explained. This was the chapter wise conclusion. Now I am coming to the final findings, conclusion, and recommendation. Just to answer your question, these are the prelogue or prelude, and these are the summary of the different chapters under study. And after that, I come to the findings from the analysis of the demographic variables, then from the analysis of the research specific variables. They are pointed, you see, and then the findings from the test of hypothesis, then the findings from the reliability and validity and exploratory factor analysis, and then the findings on the perception study based on structural equation modeling. And ultimately, based on these findings, we also pinpoint some problems faced by the women entrepreneurs based on this pinpointed topic. And finally, we come to the suggestions or recommendations for development of women entrepreneurs. And these are the limitations of the study, and these are the scope for further research, and this is the ultimate conclusion known as epilogue. This is the ornamentation. I have used the term epilogue. You can use the term final conclusion. So this is the way how the report is written. So I answered to the question of Shoma Kumari. Then question from Shomik Dotto: for report writing, review paper writing is required or not? I didn't get your point. Just give me 1 minute. Ball.
বলছি স্যার সবকিছু কাজগুলো হয়ে গেছে
হ্যাঁ
আর গাছের ব্যাপারটা মারুতা আপনাকে বলছে স্যার
হ্যালো স্যার
হ্যাঁ
প্রথমে গাছের জন্য ওই লাইব্রেরিয়ান স্যারের কাছে গেছি স্যার বললেন না আমি কমার্স ডিপার্টমেন্টে কোনো কাজ দেবো না এর আগে একটা গাছ মেরে ফেলেছো তারপরে অনেকবার রিকোয়েস্ট করে আমি বললাম স্যার এবারে আমি দায়িত্ব নিয়ে যাব আমি আবার দায়িত্ব নিয়ে দিয়ে যাব অনেকক্ষণ ধরে বলার পরে তারপর বললেন আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে দুটো হবে না একটা হতে পারে আমি বললাম ঠিক আছে স্যার আমি তাহলে কালকে এসে নিয়ে যাবো আমি দায়িত্ব করেই স্যার আপনার কাছে দিয়ে যাবো অসুবিধা হবে না বলার পরে বললেন ঠিক আছে নোংরা ছিল
Just
ওটা
wait
আমরা
for a minute. I have a phone
ঝাড়টা
call
দিয়ে
from the university. Just wait. Somik Dotto, you please unmute. I'm not getting your question. For report writing, review paper writing is required or not? What is review paper writing?
Sir, review paper means sir, to write the what the previous
Literature review.
previous work.
It's very much
Yes,
there
sir.
in the thesis. It should be report writing means your thesis writing or the research paper writing. You should be there. Your literature review should be included there. Must be included there.
Sometimes it's also published in a journal also what the reviewers there in previously.
আমি
So
বাংলায়
sometimes
বলছি, আপনার কথা বুঝতে পারছি না। যে কোনো রিসার্চ পেপার এবং যে কোনো থিসিসেই প্রিভিয়াস লিটারেচার রিভিউটাকে দেখাতে হয়। ইট ইজ ম্যান্ডেটরি। সেটা আপনার যে জার্নালেই পাবলিশ হোক না কেন, সেটাও ওয়ান অফ দ্য লিটারেচার হতেই পারে। যদি আপনার থিসিস পাবলিশ করার আগে আপনার কোনো লেখা পাবলিশ হয় কোনো জার্নালে, দ্যাট ইজ অলসো পার্ট অফ ইউর লিটারেচার। আপনি বিবলিওগ্রাফিতেও দেখাতে পারেন, সেলফ সেলফ সাইটেশন হতেই পারে, বাট ইট শুড নট বি সেলফ প্লেজারিজম। রিসার্চ আর্টিকেলে যে লেখাটা লিখলেন সেটা কপি করে থিসিসে বসিয়ে দিলেন, সেটা হবে না, এটাকে সেলফ প্লেজারিজম বলে।
ওইটাকেও আবার মানে চেঞ্জ করে
ওটাকেও
লিখতে
আবার
হবে।
চেঞ্জ করতে হবে। আপনার ওখান থেকে যে কনক্লুশন ড্র করলেন বা যে মেথোডোলজি ইউজ করলেন, সেম মেথোডোলজি ইউজ করতে পারেন। স্যাম্পল শুড বি লার্জার এন্ড কনক্লুশন শুড বি ডিফারেন্ট। ওখান থেকে কপি করে এখানে বসিয়ে দিলে হবে না।
ও না, সে আমার কাজ হলেও সে আমাকে চেঞ্জ করেই লিখতে হবে।
চেঞ্জ করেই লিখতে হবে।
ওকে স্যার।
একটা সাধারণ জিনিস মাথায় রাখুন, বাংলায় বলাটা ঠিক হচ্ছে না, কিন্তু আপনি যেহেতু বাংলায় ভালো বোঝেন সেই জন্য আমি বাংলাতেই কথাটা বলছি। এটা একেবারেই ভাবুন যে আপনি সোম থেকে রবিবার পর্যন্ত প্রায় একই বাজার করে আনেন বাড়িতে, কিন্তু রোজ একই কি খাবার খান?
না স্যার।
একই পদ খান, কিন্তু তাও স্বাদের একটু তফাৎ হয়, কোনোদিন একটু নুন বেশি হয়, কোনোদিন ঝাল একটু কম হয়। দ্যাট ইজ নট প্লেজারিজম, দ্যাট ইজ নট প্লেজারিজম। আমি আপনাকে রিকোয়েস্ট করছি যে সোমবার রান্না করে ফ্রিজে রেখে 7 দিন খাবেন না, রোজ আলাদা আলাদা রান্না করুন। বোঝাতে পারলাম?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
আচ্ছা, সঞ্জীবন সরকার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, রাইট স্যার।
আই এম নট গেটিং পজিটিভ আউটকাম, সেটা তো লিখতেই পারেন, সেটা নেগেটিভ রিপোর্টিং নয়।
আচ্ছা স্যার।
আপনি যদি টাইটেলটা চেঞ্জ করতে চান পারবেন না স্যার।
আচ্ছা স্যার, ওকে।
You cannot mold your title and methodology, that is a technical glitch.
Okay sir.
Once the title is finalized at the time
Okay,
of
sir.
registration, whatever may be the research outcome, you
Yes,
have
sir.
to speak on your title. যদি আপনি
Right, sir.
টাইটেল চেঞ্জ করতে চান করতেই
হ্যাঁ,
পারেন,
sir.
তার জন্য রি-রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে হবে, করে আরো 5 বছর ব্যয় করতে হবে।
Okay sir, ঠিক আছে স্যার, এটা জানাচ্ছিলাম। This was the thing.
আচ্ছা, পুলক বড়ুয়া, is it
Yes, sir.
similar to results and discussion? Result and discussion বলে কিছু হয় না। আপনি
আচ্ছা।
স্ট্রেট অ্যাওয়ে লিখবেন ফাইন্ডিংস, কনক্লুশন, রেকমেন্ডেশন এন্ড লিমিটেশন।
ওকে স্যার।
অনেক
Thank you,
জায়গায়
sir.
লেখা থাকে, আমি দেখি পুলক বড়ুয়ার আনসারটা ভুল, ওই কোয়েশ্চেনটা ভুল না, বাট ইন থিসিস দ্য এক্সাক্ট টার্ম শুড বি ইউজড। সেই কারণে অনেক রিসার্চ পেপার পাবলিশ হয় না, অনেক থিসিস করতে দেরি হয়ে যায়।
ওকে স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Exact term is finding, conclusion, recommendation and limitation. কোনো থ্যাংক ইউ না, ইট ইজ মাই ডিউটি। আমি এই ধরনের কোয়েশ্চেন গুলোই চাইছিলাম, এইটা চাইছিলাম না আমি অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট জমা করতে পারিনি, আমার 2 পার্সেন্টেজ পাবো না, এগুলো আমি চাইছিলাম না। I wanted these sort of questions so that I can also understand whether you are getting rightly my deliberation or not.
Okay.
So I think up to this clear. No other question from anybody? আর অনেক কিছু বলার আছে
স্যার। একটা জিনিস
হ্যাঁ
স্যার, ওই রিসার্চ রিপোর্ট লিখতে লিখতে বা আমার যে মনে হয় যে আমার যে টাইটেলটার সঙ্গে ঠিক খাপ খাচ্ছে না, তো এট এনি পয়েন্ট মানে ওটা ফাইনাল বিফোর সাবমিশন ওটা কি আমি চেঞ্জ করা যায়, মানে সে ধরনের অপশন হয় না, ওটা ফিক্স হয়ে গেল?
এখনই আরেকজন জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, আমি তো পরিষ্কার বললাম যে আপনার রিসার্চ রেজিস্ট্রেশনে যে টাইটেলটা চেঞ্জ করতে পারবেন না, মেথোডোলজিটা চেঞ্জ করতে পারবেন না, বিকজ দ্য কপি অফ দ্য সিনপসিস is already submitted officially to the university authority. যদি চেঞ্জ করতে হয় করতেই পারেন, তার জন্য আবার একবার রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে হবে, করে আবার 5টা বছর ব্যয় করতে হবে। সেই জন্য যে কোনো মূল্যে সিনপসিস জমা দেওয়ার আগে 200 বার ভাববেন, 400 বার সুপারভাইজারের কাছে যাবেন, এবং বিফোর ফাইনালাইজেশন অফ দ্য রেজিস্ট্রেশন সার্টিফিকেট, রেজিস্ট্রেশন মিটিং হয়ে যাওয়ার আগে, প্লেস করার আগে ওটা চেঞ্জ করতে পারেন। রেজিস্ট্রেশন মিটিং এ হাজারো কাটাছেঁড়া হতে পারে। ওয়ান্স ইউ গেট ইউর রেজিস্ট্রেশন লেটার উইথ দ্য টাইটেল, উইথ দ্য টপিক, কিছু করবেন না, নাইদার দ্য মেথোডোলজি নর দ্য টাইটেল নর এনিথিং, নর দ্য স্যাম্পল সাইজ, কিচ্ছু চেঞ্জ করা যাবে না।
আচ্ছা,
স্যাম্পল সাইজটা কমানো যেতে পারে, যদি আপনি ডেটা না পান সেটা লিমিটেশনে লিখতে হবে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
টাইটেল আর মেথোডোলজি চেঞ্জ করা যাবে না।
চেঞ্জ করা যাবে না, যা করতে হবে ডিউরিং এনরোলমেন্ট এন্ড
করতে পারেন। এনরোলমেন্টটা কোনো ফ্যাক্টর নয়, রেজিস্ট্রেশন থেকে উইল গেট 5 years, From registration you'll get maximum 5 years. Within 2 years আপনাকে pre-submission দিতে হবে। Pre-submission দেওয়ার 6 মাসের মধ্যে আপনাকে থিসিস জমা দিতে হবে মিনিমাম আফটার পাসিং অফ 6 মান্থস। এবারে আপনি ম্যাক্সিমাম এটা করতে পারেন 5 বছরের মধ্যে। আপনি টাইটেল চেঞ্জ করতেই পারেন, তাহলে আবার যে ডেট থেকে টাইটেল চেঞ্জ করবেন সেই ডেট থেকে রেজিস্ট্রেশন হবে, আবার সেখান থেকে আরো 5 বছর ওয়েট করতে হবে। বুঝতে পারলাম?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
আচ্ছা, আর কেউ? Now, lots of
So
things.
may I please?
Please.
Sir, for my research title, as I had mentioned, Sustainable Coastal Tourism Development in Selected Beaches of West Bengal. I had selected 3 beaches. So if I take a sample size of 500 tourists and 50 from the government organization, is it okay, sir? Please guide.
You have taken 500 samples from government organization?
No, 500 from tourists.
From tourists.
And 50
Why
from
500?
government organized.
Why 500?
Sir, actually
Why
this
not
was suggested.
533?
Okay. Actually
you use
this
the
was
sample size determination formula. I have shown you the sample size determination formula. Take the
Yes.
help of a good statistics book, and the exact sample size should be logically explained, not 500, 400, 300.
Got it, sir. Got it. Actually, I
And
was not
whatever
having a
data-
clear concept before your classes, so now I am getting it more clear.
Yes, your data is of 2 types. One is primary data, you will collect with the help of structured questionnaire. Another is your interview with the government personnel. So both the methodologies are acceptable. You write in your methodology that for such and such sample, I will take the data from the tourist with the help of this formula. Number of sample size you must be determining.
Okay.
And the
Okay,
other
sir.
part, 50, 100, 20, whatever it is, you take the interview from the officials, government officials, and the interview results you put in a descriptive format. So
Okay,
both
sir.
the methods
Thank
are
you.
acceptable.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? I'm always there to answer the questions, but should be academic questions. Now I love to answer the questions because all the questions are academic. Now I come back to my issue. The first step in the research report writing process involves the interpretation of the results of the data analysis in the light of the research problem investigated and objectives formulated. The research report is a means of communication that can be understood, believed, trusted by everyone who are likely to be affected by the research and acted upon by the decision maker. Now, before writing the report, we have segregated the stages as before pre-writing, during writing, and after writing. So before writing the report, the researcher should discuss the major findings, conclusions, and recommendations with the supervisor and experts in the field, necessary to ensure that the report meets the required standards and ultimately accepted. The entire research project should be summarized in a single written report. It should present the findings in such a way that they can be used directly as input into decision making. Now, report format. No university accepted standard format or style for report writing, research report writing. Different researchers may prepare their reports differently, but you should have an idea. For that, you go to the inspection of unpublished thesis and published thesis so that you can have an idea how to write the report properly. For example, I have shown you just now one full report. From that, you got the idea how the reports are to be written. If you want, I can upload that report in my Google Classroom so that you can have the idea how to write the report properly. So the personality, background, expertise, and responsibility of the researcher and those of the decision maker for whom the report is written interact to give each report a unique character. Report formats are likely to vary with the nature of the project itself. However, the research report closely resembles the steps of the marketing research process. Any research process, maybe it marketing, maybe in business research, and maybe others. So research report consists of 3 parts: the preliminary, that is prefatory pages, the text, that is main body of the report, and the reference material. This is the preliminary section, that is the title page. I have already shown you in the sample. The title page, the researcher's declaration, the research supervisor's certificate, preface or abstract or summary, acknowledgements, content, list of tables, list of figures, and list of abbreviations. And next section, that is preliminary section, suppose having some annexure, that should also be mentioned here. Then this is the chapter 1, that is introductory chapter, what it should have. This is only a sample, you can change. So 1.1 is the introduction of the study, 1.2 theoretical or conceptual framework, 1.3 industry or company profile, 1.4 for problem formulation, 1.5 objectives of the study, 1.6 proposed chapterization of the study. Now this chapter includes the outcome of the studies in the present area of research. These studies have been categorized in the following sections. This is the second chapter, that is literature review. First chapter dealt with this thing, now coming to the second chapter. The second chapter is literature review. হ্যাঁ নমস্কার স্যার, বলুন স্যার। The second chapter, that is dealing with general concept of promotional mix, service marketing, financial service marketing, bank marketing, banking promotional mix, etc. Now the chapter 3 dealing with the research methodology, that is 3.1 is scope of the study, 3.2 is research design, 3.3 objectives of the study, 3.4 hypothesis of the study, 3.5 sampling framework, 3.6 statistical techniques for data analysis, 3.7 demographic profile of the respondent. Now regarding sample framework, there are certain things to be mentioned pinpointedly, like population or universe, sample size, sampling method, time framework for data collection tool, and response rate. Now chapter 4 dealing with data analysis and interpretations, chapter 5 dealing with findings of the study. These are only some samples showing you. You can change your chapters accordingly. Chapter 6 is conclusion and recommendation. It includes recommendation. There is a reverse order. First is conclusion, then the recommendation, then the limitation. Then coming to bibliography, that is annexure. Bibliography, that is list of books, list of journals, list of websites, list of blogs, list of YouTube videos, etc. And then the annexure containing the questionnaires, list of respondents, and other supporting materials. These are the reference material. Now it is the APA style. Your question was there, Mr. Dotto, regarding APA style. APA means American Psychological Association. If it has prepared a particular format for referencing your books, your websites, your reference materials. So there are different sources like print sources, electronic sources, books, websites, e-resources, etc. So there are guidelines regarding how to give citation for the print sources, non-electronic, for book with no author or editor, for book with one author, for book with more than one author, for edited book, and such and such. Very simple. You go to your MS Word page. Open any MS Word page. I'm opening any MS Word page. You see, this is the MS Word page. There is a icon known as references, and here there are some styles mentioned. You see, insert citation. There is a button showing insert citation, and there are different styles, like APA is a default style. There are other styles like MLA, IEEE. There are lots of styles mentioned. So if you click on insert citation, you have to add new source, And when you have to add a new source, the name of the author, title, year, city, publisher, this you have to put. And automatically if you place OK, then automatic citation is being provided by MS Word itself. So MS Word is having lots of facilities like insert footnote, insert endnote, then managing sources like insert citations, style, bibliography. This bibliography is also there. You can write a bibliography in a specific version. So these things are there. APA and MLA style, you don't have to search anywhere else. Just insert citation, click on that, and click on APA or MLA. The citation will be given in the APA or MLA style. What will be covered in recommendation? Recommendation is something new which you have suggested as researcher, which are not done by you, but maybe done by the future researchers. This will be the part of the recommendations. Now coming to the other parts, that is APA, MLA. The next there is language of the report. Language of the report I am skipping. Then research paper writing. There are certain tips in publishing the research paper, and this is another episode. It will take a long time. So today I am wrapping up with the attendance, and tomorrow morning at 9 AM I will be completing the rest part. So just give me the attendance, and I'll be uploading my notes here now. Just give me your attendance. Aditi Chaudhary. Aditi Chaudhary is here. I am not getting any response from her. Aditi Chaudhary, are you here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Then Ajit Vishwas, Omlan Vishal, Amrita Bera, are you here? I think Amrita Bera is not here. Amrita Bera is not here, so not given percentage.
Present, sir. Present.
Sir,
Yes, sir, I am here. Yes, sir, I am here.
Amrita Bera is there.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm
Omlan
here, sir.
Vishal also present, sir.
Omlan Vishal given. Ankur Roy Chaudhary. Ankur Roy Chaudhary, not here. Orgo Bhattacharya.
Yes, sir. Here present.
Orpita Chatterjee. Orpita Chatterjee, are you there?
Present, sir.
Orpita Kundu. Orpita Kundu is not there.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, Orpita Chatterjee.
Yes, sir, present.
Who is laughing? Lots of people who are absent in the first half, they have given percentage. If you laugh at me, I will also laugh at you at the end. Arup Dasgupta. Arup Dasgupta, are you there? Not there. Atanu Pal.
Yes, sir.
Ovik Datto. Ovik Datto. Not here. Oyon Datto. হ্যাঁ বলুন
স্যার আমি অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সে দিতে পারছিলাম না, দিয়েছি, একবার দেখবেন প্লিজ পড়েছে কি।
Present, sir. Present, sir.
শ্যামলবাবু মেল পাঠিয়েছেন তাই তো?
Hello.
আচ্ছা
Present, sir.
আমি দেখে নিচ্ছি।
Present.
স্যার আমি ঐশ্বর্য বলছি, আমি
Please,
অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স এতক্ষণ
please
খেলতে পারছিলাম
mention
না,
your
জাস্ট
name
দিয়েছি।
instead
Oyan
of
Dotto.
telling present.
Present,
please
sir.
mention
Present,
your
sir.
name.
Hello, sir. This is Diplo Dostidar. I was present, sir.
Sir, আমি অভিজ্ঞতা স্যার প্রেজেন্ট। Hello, present, sir.
Bondita
Oyan
Dotto.
Dotto. Present,
Yes,
sir.
yes, I've given you. Obik
Yes,
Dotto and
sir.
Oyan
Present
Dotto.
Bondita Dotto.
Yes, Bishwamoy Pal.
Yes, sir. Present, Bishomoy Pal.
Dr.
স্যার
Sumanta
আমারটা একটু
Bhattacharya.
দেখবেন, আমি এতক্ষণে
এখন আবার
খুলতে পারলাম,
আগে
আমি দিতে
কমপ্লিট করে
পারছি
নিই,
না।
তারপরে আপনার সঙ্গে কথা বলছি। আগে
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক
কমপ্লিট
আছে।
করে নিই। ডক্টর সুমন্ত ভট্টাচার্য, ডক্টর চিন্ময়, মিস্টার চিন্ময় সাহা প্রেজেন্ট, মিস্টার দেবরাজ মোদক মোদক,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm present.
দীপাঞ্জনা আস,
Yes, sir.
দীপেশ চক্রবর্তী, দীপেশ চক্রবর্তী নট প্রেজেন্ট, দীপ্র দস্তিদার,
Chinmay Saha,
Yes,
you
sir,
are present. Chinmay Saha, you are present. Why you are not responding?
দীপেশ চক্রবর্তী প্রেজেন্ট। ওকে,
Chinmay Saha is also present, but he is not responding.
no, that means device is present.
Yes, sir.
He is in some other place. দীপ্র দস্তিদার,
Yes, sir. Present.
Dipad Roy,
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Ekon Chung Ijung,
Yes, sir. Present.
Gopal Marik.
Yes,
Gopal
sir.
Marik, yes. Aisholina,
Present, sir.
Jamuna Prasad. Jamuna Prasad is not present. Josna Mondol,
Yes, sir, present.
Kalpataru Roy,
Present, sir.
Kamalika Bhattacharya. Kamalika is not present. Madhumita Chakraborty, not present. Malini Sen,
Yes, sir. Yes,
Manan Gupta,
Present, sir.
yes, Ayub Sheikh,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Mausumi Mukherjee,
Yes, sir. Present.
Minmoy Dam. Minmoy Dam is not present. Nilayendu Mahato.
Yes, sir. Present, sir. Present, sir.
Yes. Payal Bhattacharya,
Yes, sir. Present.
Payal Mukherjee, Ulomi Ganguly, Pooja Das,
Present, sir.
Pulak Borua,
Present, sir.
Ratna Roy,
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Rinki Bhomik, Rinki Bhomik.
Present, sir.
Okay. Rituparna Das,
Present, sir. Present.
Rohita Das,
Present, sir.
Samir Patro,
Present, sir.
Sanjeevan Sarkar is very much present.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shravani Das,
Hello.
Shravani Das,
Yes, sir. Present, sir. Sir, am I audible?
yes.
Sir, I am Kaulika Bhattacharya. I am present, sir, but my microphone is not working. That's why I
Okay, I am looking afterwards. Let me finish first. Shayani Ghosh. Shayani Ghosh present.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Shankar Prasad Mitra. Shankar Prasad Mitra is not present.
Present.
Present. Then Shohini Kulavi,
Present, sir.
Soma Kumar,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Srimoyi, Srimoyi, Shomik Datta present.
Present, sir.
Yes. Shobhan Khan, Shobhan Khan, Sri Shiksha Sirajum.
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Yes, Subhadra Nandi,
Present, sir.
Sudipta Saha,
Present, sir.
Sudipta Saha,
Sudipto Shah, present, sir.
Sukanto Mondol,
Present, sir.
Sukarna Roy,
Yes, sir, present.
Sushovan Khatua,
Present, sir.
Sheta Manna. Okay, then others, please tell me.
Sir,
Sir,
Chinmay is
Kamalika
present, sir.
Bhattacharya.
Just wait. I'm muting all. Now, only those who did not get your present.
Sir, Chinmay is present, sir. Just I'm not.
Sir,
Just
Aishwarya.
wait. Just wait. Just wait. I'll open and ask. Only I ask, then you answer. আমি একটু মিউট করে রাখছি, শুধু যাকে বলবো তিনি আনমিউট করবেন, নাহলে আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি না সবটা। অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স তো সবাই দেখতেই পাচ্ছেন, এখানে হ্যাভ আই গট অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স জিজ্ঞেস করার কোনো দরকার নেই। অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স তো আপনার কাছে যাচ্ছে।
So
Google takes time. Please give me time.
this is the
Google takes time. Lots of attendance is given. Google takes time. After getting updated, yes, now you'll get it. Now ask one by one. Aishwarya Chatterjee, are you there?
Yes, sir, I was there.
Ankor Roy Chaudhary, Arup Dasgupta, Jamuna Prasad Kundu. He is there writing in the chat box. Kamalika Bhattacharya,
Yes, sir, I am present.
Madhumita Chakraborty,
Yes, sir, I am present, sir.
then Mrinmoy Dam, then Shomi Roy Chaudhary, then Shobhan Khan. Just this was a sample check. And you see, some devices are present and percentages are given, but people are not there. This is the thing we are doing. If our students do it with us. And for today's second half, no assignment will be given. The first day assignment will be marked as 10 because I have not completed the second part presentation. So this is a matter of justice. I'll be just changing the mark. The assignment of the first half will be awarded as 10. And the second half, no assignment will be given. Only one assignment will be given tomorrow, and that is of 10 marks. And tomorrow I'll start the class from 9 to 10, just 1 hour class, because I'll be busy with my university work, own university work. So already conveyed to the MAKAUT official. Okay. So today I'm wrapping up. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll be taking my class, and day after tomorrow the whole day.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
Thanks to
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Srikat Sarkar and other officials.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sir,
all.
hello.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please tell me.
Sir,
Thank you,
actually, after revising the maths, sir, which you just taught us in the first step, sir, I have one query in particular one step. Sir, can you help me out, sir? That's why just
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
disturb the class. Sir,
Yes.
actually, while you say by null hypothesis, you just
You call me
rejected
at
one
9
value.
p.m.
Okay,
Just
sir.
now I have to talk to my vice
Okay, sorry,
chancellor.
sir. Sorry.
You yesterday also
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
talk to me at night. You talk to me at night.
Sorry, sir. Okay, sir.
You are given permission. You always can call.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Prem, please call